Irfan sir, Sonal madam, Chandan sir, ready?
Yes, sir, we are ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Irfan sir, Irfan, Chaube
Irfan
sir.
sir, kindly unmute yourself. You are muted.
Sir, ready.
Sir, is he coming, Chaube sir?
Yes, sir.
हाँ,
Yes, sir. We are ready.
चौबे सर 1 या 2 मिनट में आने वाले हैं.
Okay. So, shall we start or we should wait?
Wait sir 2 minutes because अभी 2:29 ना. We start exact 2:30.
Sir. Yes, sir. We are ready.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are ready.
Okay.
Chaube sir has come. I am letting him in.
Okay.
I am
Sonal
letting him
madam,
in, Chaube sir.
Hello. Ma'am, I'm ready. Hello.
Now I am admitting all the participants.
Okay. Sonal madam, start the event.
Okay, sir. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries, experts, faculties, and all participants. I, Sonal Yadav, on behalf of Truba College of Science and Technology, Bhopal, welcomes you all. With the sponsorship of TACUP 3, RGPV Bhopal, Truba College of Science and Technology, organized a one-day online national webinar on research, ethics, and methodology in modern education. RGPV TEQIP 3 is targeted to improve the quality of technical education in approximately 180 affiliated engineering institutes across Madhya Pradesh by introducing enabling mechanism for faculty empowerment, student learning enhancement, industry relations, and synergetic efforts of all stakeholders. The objective of this event is to help researchers to write a smart thesis, that is, specific talk in a precise and clear way about what you are going to do. You will also gain knowledge to realistically recognize the time and resource constraint that will come while doing a PhD. And you will be able to determine when each objective needs to be completed. Now, I would like to invite Professor Manoj Tyagi, HOD CSE Department and in charge principal, Truba College of Science and Technology, to welcome all the dignitaries.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to everyone. I heartily welcome to all dignitaries, respected HODs, faculty members, and all participants present here. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to our honorable guest, Professor S.C. Chobe, Coordinator TEQIP 3 RGPV Bhopal. It is really an honor for our institution that you accepted our invitation and gave your valuable time for this event. Your presence is motivational and inspirational for us. I am also pleased to welcome Shri Shyam Rathorji, Chairman, Truba Group of Institute, who is source of inspiration for all of us and who always motivate and guide us in every situation. It is proud moment for us that you gave your precious time for this event and encourage us by your gracious presence. I am also honored and privileged to welcome Dr. Ramvilas Pachori ji, Professor IIT Indore. It is a great pleasure for our institute that you accepted our request and taken time off your busy schedule to guide us with your knowledge and experience about research ethics and methodology. Again, it is an honor for us to welcome Dr. Rajiv Arya, Director TIIT Bhopal, who have constantly extended his support for this event. I am also welcome to all HODs. Sir, your gracious presence inspire and encourage us. I am very gratitude to all dignitaries for taking out time from their busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence.
Thank you, sir. Now I feel very privileged to invite Honorable Professor S.C. Chaube, Coordinator TACUB 3 RGPV Bhopal, to address and guide us all. If answer kindly.
सर अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Manoj and Sona. At this platform, at TEQIP platform, I welcome Sri Shyam Rathorji, Manoj Kumar, and expert of the day, Professor Ram Vilas Pachauri, who has been very kind enough for RGPV and affiliated institutions to provide all kinds of support, academic support, and as well as guiding to our students of the affiliated institutions. And his presence at Bhopal is always welcome. At this moment, Tribal group of institutions are organizing one program on research ethics and methodology. When I talk about RGPB and at this platform, our basic mandate or the mandate of the university is to produce a quality research work, innovation, and research is to provide all kind of facility to research scholars. Along with this, as per UGC guidelines, university is also providing a plagiarism software like a Turnitin. And probably all the professors, all the teachers and research scholars who are sending their papers for publications, they will be using this Turnitin. Other part, which is the methodology. We have in our, when any research scholar get registered for PhD, there is one research methodology. So research methodology is a very important subject. I feel its importance not at a research at a PhD level or PG level, even at for our undergraduate students also need to understand it. Today we have also, that expecting from our final year students to publish their paper in the research journals. And every other day we are talking about the innovations and startups. In order to motivate UG students, PG students, and how to write the papers, they need certain guidelines. In some universities, research methodology is also part of their curriculum. And university is also thinking positively to include this at a PG level. Students can understand where they should publish the papers, what is the ethics which they should adopt when they involve in their research. Facilities provided, but what we feel at even after 3 years, TEQIP 3 started, that this came on board in somewhere 2017. And RGPV and TEQIP 3 rigorously putting all efforts to bring all research scholars and faculty members to on some platform where they can discuss about their problems. They can, even the supervisors can support. Supervisors can also learn from the research scholars. And we are trying to provide, create that kind of environment. And all our affiliated institutions are really supporting They are supporting the TEQIP 3. And I am also very hopeful that even if TEQIP 3 is not there, that kind of spirit will continue. I'm talking about that spirit where, because every faculty members and research scholar, now they are working on the virtual platform. We do not have now any time constraint that the research scholars is not available, the particular student is not available after 5:30, therefore we cannot talk to them. Any teacher means that he has got a 24-hour job. So you can even talk to Dr. Pachauri that how much our IIT professors are working. There is no time constraint, and that's why they are known as a professor of IITs. If I also start working to that magnitude, definitely we will also have our place at the national level. So my request is that all research scholars and supervisors, let them to come on a platform, nothing to do with they belong to RGPV or they belong to Sage University or Tuba Institute or which is any universities. But when we talk about as an academician, we are academicians, and we can discuss our problems, we can create our problems, we can contact to our IIT professors on certain issues. Why we always try to, sometimes that after I have seen the research scholars who are keen to do their PhDs, and after intense examinations, they are searching for some problems. Some supervisors may provide some kind of support, but because supervisors are also very busy with their administrative job in the institute, therefore they cannot get engaged to that extent where our research scholars are expecting from the supervisors. Okay, fine. But if the supervisor may not spare much time to the research scholar, but the research scholar can talk to the different institutions. They can talk to, and you will agree that any work which is done in a group, it leads to a success. If all 5 research scholars sitting together, and TEQIP 3 will provide all kind of support. I do not know that if I can see that 88 participants are there, this time it's a good that out of 88 participants, at least 10 participants you can identify, which can come again on this platform and let our expert will be same Professor Pachauri. I request Professor Pachauri that you come here on this platform for 10 participants only. And these 10 participants, you please guide continuously to them till they frame some their research paper, they frame some kind of their target that they have to do this. Their line of action is decided. You can see that even Tuba Institute, if decide that they have to work in artificial intelligence, they have to work in cyber security, they have to work in machine learning. Accordingly, you will manage all resources, and this will come up as a institute of learning at the national and state level. That kind of effort is required to every institution. That should be known that if you want work on the machine learning, you please contact to the Tuba. They have got a NVIDIA, they have got a resources, and they will help you. Automatically, your revenue will also be, you will able to generate your revenue. Your expertise, your students, they will get also motivated that you have got that capacity. Sometimes you may not have a sufficient pool for sufficient resources for electrical engineering. Your students can go to other institutions. Why we are living in the isolations? We can share our responsibilities, our resources. Even you can see that our government of India has facilitated all its ISRO facility to the private partners. We have to live in that spirit. So I'm very much hopeful that with all this spirit, our all faculty members, all universities, and this time universities under the leadership of Professor Sunil Kumar, you will be, I'll be there, you will be interacting with him that how much he is not as a regulator, he is a facilitator basically. And because of this, his positive attitude towards here, we are able to arrange so many programs and getting some outcome. So please, my request, humble request is that TEQIP 3 may not be tomorrow, but this spirit which our private institutions, affiliated institutions have shown during these 3 years, this will continue. RGPV will also continue its support, even it can support financially. You have seen that under collaborative research scheme, every researcher has been given a seed money, like a 3 lakhs. But university has got 10 crores for you. But I get surprised that no one of the research scholars apply for funding. This is open for them. This is for them. They should apply that I need one equipment for this purpose. The cost of this is 55 lakhs. I need that your support. University will provide. University will be happy to provide such type of resources when our teachers come that they want to work in this fundamental work. So with all this, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to particularly Professor Ramvilas Pachori for his support and continuously when yesterday he was there in some of the events. Today again he is present, and particularly Sri Rathorji and to by known as academic institutions. When I came to the Bhopal, I just for some of the institutions where you can count in finger. One of the institutions is Tuba Institute. So I think with that, Tuba will again come up with some innovative ideas, will come with some research scholars, and it should take advantage of being very close to the RGPV. And all HODs who have been participating actively, number of programs they have organized under this TEQIP. I wish to thank them. I wish to thank Mr. Manoj Tyagi, who had been active and who has been requesting to present in this event. And all faculty members, I can see Sonal Yadav has been involved in various conduction of the programs. I think that with this deal, you continue even after this TEQIP 3. I hope that it should continue, but even if it is finished by September, but this deal should continue. Take all support from this Rajiv Gandhi Pratyuka Vishwavidyalaya. I wish to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who had been very, very motivating and encouraging to all of us. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rahul sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our honor. Thank you so much, sir. It's our honor to accept thanks, a very big thanks from you on behalf of Truva College. We all are very thankful to receive this thanks. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I am honored to invite Sri Shyam Rathod, Deputy Member through a group of institutes. Sir, it would be our pleasure to listen to your precious words.
Thank you, Sonal. And good afternoon, everyone. I especially thank Dr. Pachori, Dr. Chobe, and Manoj Tyagi for organizing such a nice program and giving me a chance to speak in front of such a high-level dignitaries. I am really grateful to see the pains taken by Shri Sunil Kumar ji, Shri Chobe sir, and Pachori ji for giving their precious time, enlightening the students with their knowledge. I see around 91 participants in the group, and they all are lucky that from their comfort zone, they are able to get the knowledge which they need. And I especially once again congratulate the team Truba that they organized such a nice program. And I also promise Sri Chobe sir that this will continue with the support of RGPV and with your guide also once the TEQIP is over, because you have given us the line. We should work on that to improve the quality of technical education. Thank you very much. And once again, I welcome you all for this nice program. Welcome to Truba, sir. Thank you. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I've done. Was there any voice disturbance there?
Yeah, actually, sir, it was from my side. So
Yeah,
sorry
okay.
for that. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your all support. You are always supporting too much to all of you. Amit, sir, please continue.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I am very delighted to take an opportunity to introduce about our expert, Dr. Ram Vilas Pachori. He has done MTech and PhD from IIT Kanpur. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am
Yes,
I
sir.
audible?
Continue.
Okay. He worked as a postdoctoral fellow at Charles Delaunay Institute, University of Technology, Troyes, France. He served as an assistant professor at Communication Research Center, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad. He was a visiting fellow at School of Medicine, Faculty of Health and Medicine Sciences, Taylor University, Subang Jaya, Malaysia. He also worked as a visiting scholar at Intelligent System Research Center, Ulster University, Northern Ireland, UK. Currently, he is working as a professor at Discipline of Electrical Engineering, IIT Indore. He is also an associated faculty with the discipline of Biosciences and Biomedical Engineering at IIT Indore. He is an associate editor of Electronics, Biomedical and Signal Processing and Control Journal, and an editor of IETE Technical Review Journal. He is a senior member of IEEE USA and a fellow of IETE India and IET UK. He has supervised 12 PhD, 20 MTech, and 37 BTech students for their thesis and projects. He has more than 200 publications, including journal papers, conference papers, books, and book chapters. He has been listed the top H-index scientist in the area of computer science and electronics by Guide to Research website. He has served on review board for more than 100 scientific journals and served for scientific committees of various national and international conferences. He has delivered more than 100 talks in various conferences, workshops, short-term courses, and institutes. His research interests are in the area of signal and image processing, biomedical signal processing, non-stationary signal processing, speed signal processing, brain-computer interfacing, machine learning, artificial intelligence in healthcare, and signal processing for Vidas. Now I request Dr. Ramvilas Pachori to continue the session, and I request all participants to keep them mute.
Yeah, thank you very much for introduction and good morning everyone. Are you able to see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Thank you very much. And I would like to convey my thanks to Professor Manoj Tyagi, Professor Amit Kumar Sharma, and Professor Chandan Kumar, and Truba College of Science and Technology, Bhopal, for organizing this webinar and giving me the opportunity to be part of this webinar. So it is my pleasure to speak on research ethics and methodology in modern education as a part of this webinar. So this is the overview of this talk. First, we will see about the research, what is research. Then we will see about the peer-reviewed publications, and then impact factor, then H and item index, then citations, and in the end, conclusion will be provided. So you can see in the right-hand side, there is actually this graph. And these days, when you search in the Google for some researcher, and this actually, these figures comes. So this actually, the upper one is the Google Scholar profile of mine. It is a few months before. And the lower one, that is Scopus. So this actually, this Google Scholar profile is openly available. Anybody can see. And this one, these days, when if you want to know about any researcher, any professor about the research, you search on Google Scholar and you can get this representation. So it tells what are the actually different years, what are the citations. So indirectly, what is the impact of the research of that particular researcher. So that can be seen year-wise. For example, 2019, it shows that around 1600 citations are there. So this means 1600 papers they have cited your research. So actually, this shows the what is the usefulness of the work that you are doing. And the lower one, that is Scopus profile, and it shows actually two information. One is how many number of papers that you are writing here, and how many people are citing that. So this has information about the number of papers that you have published every year, and the citations, how many people refer them. So these days, actually, this is very common when you apply for jobs. Even some universities, they consider this this as a reputation of the researcher, as a measure of the research. What you are doing, what is the, so this is also known as research measurement, how good researcher you are. So even some journals, if you want to go for a special issue, and they have fixed like you should have your H index around 50. Even some universities, if you want to be examiner of PhD thesis, examiner of some books, this reviewer of some books, then you should have some particular H index. So this is also one of the criteria sometimes when you are doing some work. So actually, now what is the research? Research actually, this is name itself is research. Research means re and search. So the search is not completed. You have to search again and again. You can see right hand side, this one student is doing research, and his friends are books. He's always within the books, always in the library, always in the literature, and that spirit is required. Research actually, it requires search of knowledge. Like you think about the money or about the this investing money for earning money. Similarly, for research, you have to invest your lot of time for the research, for the study purpose. Then only research can be. Research is not for everyone. Research actually requires a lot of motivation, lot of interest. So research actually it needs scientific and systematic search for relevant information or a specific topic, and that is very actually suppose you know on what topic you want to research, you have to be part of that topic always. You have to think always about that topic. Because suppose you are doing research in epilepsy diagnosis, so you have to always think about the epilepsy, about the methods, what people are doing. Whenever you meet people, you discuss about these topics to them. So it is one kind of your friend. That is research actually. Sometimes you have to be you are always with your research, and research can be defined as an art of scientific investigation. So like this is sometimes it is art how to do the research. If research requires literature survey, then you have to find out what are the gaps available in the literature, what is the problem that we can solve. then how to solve it. So it has a systematic process, and that requires a lot of time, and that is actually very useful. It doesn't require from which background you are, from which college you are, from which place you are. It requires only motivation, hard work, and your time. And research actually helps us to discover answers of the questions through the application of scientific procedures. For example, suppose these days we have a lot of pandemic due to this COVID-19, and now people are looking for the solutions. So that is area of research. Now people want to develop vaccine for this corona disease. So now that actually the scientific, whatever information is available in the literature, that will help us to develop the medicine for that. So that actually, so that is sometimes some problems comes, that itself is actually motivation for research. So research actually, this is a well-known saying, the hard work and self-interest lead to success. So if you are able to work hard and you have interest in that direction, in that area of research, then definitely you will get success. So that is now how to get self-interest. That itself is a area of research. That is not easy to find in which area we are good, in which area we are interested. So that actually, like for example, Dr. Kalam, he was motivated from the beginning itself, from the childhood. He was motivated. On the other hand, like Ramanujan, he was not motivated from the beginning, but he was very good in mathematics. So when the teacher was teaching in the class, and when Ramanujan was in the second or third class, he asked, like, you have 4 bananas and 4 students, and you want to divide these 4 bananas to 4 students in equal manner. So how many bananas each student will get? So answer was 1, because 4 bananas and 4 students, so everybody will get 1 banana. So this everybody answered, but Ramanujan asked the question to the teacher. After this question, Ramanujan asked teacher, suppose you have 0 banana and 0 number of students, then how many each one will get? So that answer, actually entire class was laughing, but teacher was silent. Teacher understood this student is not asking very simple question. That is actually, that question was 0 by 0. That is that generally students understand in 11th class, 10th, 11th class after high school. So that Ramanujan was knowing in the second and third class what is infinite. So that actually then teacher understood this Ramanujan is not very simple student, is not average student, he is exceptional student and extraordinary student, and he went to his parents' and he mentioned that your son is a brilliant actually student and you should take care of him. So the teacher conveyed message to his family that his son is very good in mathematics. So sometimes old time we were very lucky that our teachers, our parents, even our relatives, they used to discover us in which area we are good. So actually there are 2 ways to know the self-interest. One, either you should know that, like Dr. Kalam used to know, and others should discover in you. So that actually you should be always with nearby good people. They will discover you, they will tell you you are good in this area. So that is actually very useful for the research or for good work. So what is actually, there are people, you can see in the society, many people do a lot of hard work, many people do a lot of activities, but some activities, academic activities, we cannot consider them as research. For example, solving the problem which have non-solutions. So like many students, you can see many people, they do a lot of problem solving. They go to coaching and teachers, they give them a lot of assignments, and then they do a lot of hard work and they solve this non-problems. That is not a research. Learning from books, learning from research papers. Many people take research paper, they read 10 times, 20 times, and they write reports, they present to teachers and they discuss with teachers. So that is also not a research. And searching online from Google, and that now everybody has internet these days. That doesn't mean that everybody can do research, because the internet can give you information. The internet cannot give you ideas, and ideas actually that you have to spend time. You have to they have motivation that is required for getting ideas. And in India, actually, our life itself is a research. Actually, if you go to old time, our entire life was actually has been scientific life, and that is our life itself is actually run by the research. You can find even villages, you go there and they always talk about the research. If you go to villages, village people say, "Jaisa kawi anna vaisa hoga man." So that is also actually done by the research. People have done a lot of experiments empirically in the families, and they say this food is good for the mind like this. So whatever the type of food that you eat, and it affects the brain, affect the mind. So that actually that research also it doesn't require going to college, going to school, going to study literature. It is already inherent research. So you will find a lot of research, even village people in village life, rural life, you will find a lot of scientific research. Even old time people like in villages, they used to predict about the guest from the crows. If the number of like 2 crows are coming in the house, this means 2 guests are coming. So whether it is correct or not, but at least they are doing prediction of the guest based on the number of crows they are coming in the house in the morning time. So that prediction, actually the scientific concept is there in their life. They, like in rural areas, farmers, they depend on God, they depend on the nature. So that probabilistic life is there. They are highly probabilistic, highly stochastic. Life is highly random, and that actually nature can help us to do good research. So that is why actually research sometimes many people even they don't have background, but they develop background for others by doing research. And you can find many poor people, they do very good research. So research doesn't require money, and that sometimes actually this when person is poor, he learns many things automatically that is useful for the research. And either poor people do research or motivated people do research. So motivated people can be from anywhere. So and it's like now what is the need of research? Why we need research? Actually, what is the purpose of doing research? So in order to understand the world process, research is required. We have to understand each other. We have to understand the system. We have to understand the geography. We have to understand the science. We have to understand the humanity. We have to understand engineering. We have to understand engines. So that a lot of actually things we need to understand, and that understanding requires research. Then only you can get the insight of the process, insight of the mechanism, insight of the concept. And it is also required for solution for new problems. For example, these days COVID-19 and the treatment. So this is absolute need of the research. Actually, we need research for the treatment for COVID-19, and everybody is actually looking towards scientists, towards researchers, that some vaccine will come. And so sometimes need itself actually is a reason for research. And sometimes we have existing solutions, but the solutions are not proper, and we want to improve them. So that research is required. For example, suppose you you can see every year there is a lot of change in the mobiles, a lot of change in the computers, a lot of change in the desktop, a lot of change in the equipments. So that is actually we are improving according to our requirement. So like these days is when smartphones, and smartphones algorithms can be installed, and the smartphone can become really smart. And even you can predict your heart diseases. It can record your signals, your this biomedical signals in real time manner. It can tell you what is your heart rate at the different times. So that is very useful. The smartphone is really smart. That cannot be done using laptop. You cannot carry always laptop with you, but you can carry smartphone with you. So smartphone is installing these algorithms related to healthcare. That is actually need of the research. So in that way, people actually develop these systems, develop these process with time. There are various types of research, and there is a very large, many types. Research can be defined in many ways, but these are the very basic types. First is exploratory research. So In this research, we get familiar with the phenomena to find the new insight of it. Like if you want to explore it. For example, suppose in signal processing, some new method has come. Somebody has come with the new basis functions like polynomials, some different nature of the basis functions. Now everybody would like to explore it for different applications. One will explore for communication, other one will use for this coding purpose, other one someone will use for this compression purpose. So various actually exploring anything in different applications that comes in the exploratory research. Other one is descriptive research, and it describes accurately the behavior of an individual or situation or a group. So that is actually description, and third one, diagnostic research. It requires investigation of the frequency at which something occurs, or which involves something else. If you are doing diagnosis of epilepsy and the person is admitted in the hospital. So now what is the frequency of this occurring epilepsy attack? And that is a diagnostic research. You have to do diagnosis, and you need what is the frequency at which this particular thing is happening. And the other one is hypothesis testing research. So here actually we design hypothesis between variables that is actually associated with the process. For example, in communication, we want to design hypothesis at the receiver. What is the probability of the receiving signal when signal is transmitted and signal is not transmitted? So this is hypothesis. So in such a study of such kind of hypothesis, one lead to actually this hypothesis testing research. So various hypotheses can be designed, and then people investigate these hypotheses. They explore with them. They study these hypotheses, even like business, economics, a lot of hypotheses people design. And the other kind is basic research. Actually, this is very like this research is actually also known as fundamental research, and India is well known for fundamental research. Old time, our concepts were very good. We are very good in mathematics, and like Aryabhatta, he invented zero, and that is actually fundamental research. And now that is just for the purpose of knowledge. So that actually even the Aryabhatta might be not knowing that this zero will be used for the computers, for the digital electronics. So that was the basic research, that fundamental research. And like Newton method, Newton-Raphson method, these all are actually fundamental research. And they don't worry about where this method will be used, but they develop method just to the addition to the literature. Analytical research, this research actually, this is in this type of research, researchers requires to use facts and available information and for analysis of make a critical evaluation of the material. So it's like a material based research. And the other one is applied research. In this actually this is application oriented research. So for example, if you are using the signal processing for medical applications, for the detection of heart attack, then actually this comes to applied research and it will become ECG signal processing. Similarly, if you are using signal processing for brain diagnosis, diagnosis of epilepsy, diagnosis of disorder, depression, diagnosis of sleep disorders, so then this will go to brain signal processing. So in that way, actually, this signal processing is a set of technique. It is a core area, and different applications become applied domain. So this is like applied signal processing, applied mechanical processing. So it's like the areas we can have applications. So many people applied physics, applied mathematics, like if you have some like Fourier-Bessel series expansion, this is existing mathematics. But when you study for signal processing, then it will become applied in that particular kind of signals. And opinion research, that is actually is very empirical research. Is just we collect opinion from the people. Like recently, people say that COVID-19 is affecting mental health of the people. So this is based on opinion. And like even we sometime before these elections were conducted, and this based on the opinion, and media was saying that again Modi government is coming. So this is also the opinion research. So the people go to the different people and they collect opinions, and based on the opinions they come up with the ideas, come up with the conclusions. So that is actually opinion research. And empirical research, it is data type research. It doesn't use mathematical form. It is empirical. It is just experimental research based on the, for example, a signal processing empirical mode decomposition has been proposed. So it doesn't use any mathematical formula. It doesn't use any equation. And based on the empirical nature, it decomposes signal. So you will find a lot of empirical formula, empirical equations in the research. In India, actually, you will find a lot of empirical conclusion. Without research, people know many things. Rural areas, they are very rich in terms of knowledge. I've seen actually one paper in 2005. It is published and it shows that there is an effect of full moon on the non-epileptic seizures. And in our village, when our grandparents used to say, during Purnima time, you should not go outside. So there are chances of attack. And this issue of this full moon, what people are saying in the literature, in our villages, they know this through some festival kind of like Purnima. Purnima means when moon is full. So that actually many things our village people, even the grandparents, they never went to school. They never did any research. They never read any research paper. But they know about all these things. And these people, they are studying of many countries, they are including many subjects. After that, they are concluding that this non-epileptic seizure are affected by the full moon. And that in village, people know without research, they know that this Purnima time, there are chances of non-epileptic seizures. So that is why they say this grandparent that especially to kids, you should not go outside because there are chances of attacks. And that is actually, you will find a lot of research, a lot of even like many people actually even they conclude many things without research. And they have connection with the research. That is why we should explore. We should not just learn only from the books, from the literature. We should also learn from our senior people, our old people. They have a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge can be used for the research. And actually, the things are, when you see from the research point of view, then everything is connected in a manner, in some scientific manner. And if things are not connected, then it is very difficult to have that process. So everything, whatever we have in the old time, it was actually scientific in nature. And because they were having a lot of time for doing things, not like today, everybody is busy with mobile, sometimes mobile is disturbing. We don't have sufficient time like earlier. So earlier, whatever things have been done, they are very scientific, and we should try to understand them, and then we should actually explore them, and we should understand what is the scientific reason behind them. So this is actually, there are other types of research also. According to Dr. Kalam, he says actually these dreams are not what we see in the sleep. Dreams actually, these are the actual dreams, they should not allow us to sleep. That is actually, we should see such dreams. So that is actually, it is like this, we should have such motivation for our work. That motivation should not allow us to sleep. That is Dr. Kalam used to say. And there are various types of research, other ways also we can classify, like one-time research, laboratory research. One-time research means it is one time only. So for example, zero, now zero is zero. You cannot modify zero. So that is one-time research. Laboratory research, that research we do in the laboratories. Simulation research, that is done based on some simulation tools by using some simulation, by using synthetic signals, man-made signals, synthetic data. And the clinical research requires healthcare. Like our main purpose is clinical aspects. And historical research, that is historical data, based on the historical data. And the conclusion-oriented research, in this research we are interested in making conclusion. So like a lot of people like doing research on this corona, and they are coming with various conclusions. So people say you should be masked, you should make social distancing, So you should always wash your hands with the soap. So all these actually, these are the conclusions. So the people are after conclusion, they are making rules. You follow these rules. And the third decision orient, last one, decision oriented rules research. So in which people want to make decisions, what to do now. Now actually, suppose you are suffering from some disease, and the research has to be done to find to the decision from the signals which kind of disease it is. For example, you have some ECG signal which is abnormal, and now decision has to be made which kind of disease this ECG signal belongs. So such kind of actually there are various these are the object outcome based classification of the research, and what is our purpose. And these days actually a lot of scope now with the time things are changing. Now this is time is interdisciplinary time. So like it is very these days it is very difficult to say whether it is like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, it is computer science, electronics. The things are mixing to each other. So actually this time has actually this is interdisciplinary research, and I will give you one example. Like when we were in Treta Yuga, then things were well separated. Like the good people used to stay in some other land, and bad people used to stay other land. So like for example, good people used to stay nearby Ayodhya. So that is Lord Rama's place, and bad people used to stay Lanka. That is actually Ravana's place. Ravan used to stay Lanka, and there was actually that region was associated with bad people, and this Ayodhya region was associated with good people. And there was well separation between good people and bad people, that was through sea. So there was wide sea between good people and bad people. So these good people and bad people were well separated through sea, and which was very wide. And then when we came to Dwapar Yuga, then these things came in the one family. Like Kauravas and Pandavas were part of one family. So the distance was reduced between good people and bad people. Pandavas was a symbol of good people, and Kauravas was a symbol of bad people. In Kali-yuga, now it has come in one person. So sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. Same thing actually has happening in the technology. So sometimes like anything, whatever you see, for example, if you see car, sometimes it looks like electrical system, sometimes it looks like mechanical system, sometimes it looks like computer science, sometimes it looks like artificial intelligence is there. So sometimes a lot of automation is there. So a lot of actually many areas of science and engineering you can find in car itself. So this is what actually today you will like knowledge of one area is not sufficient for doing research. One should go for actually as many as areas, and that sometimes is rural areas people they are from actually they are very close to nature. That actually knowledge is very useful for research when you want to do something real research for real life. So this example you can see, this is actually brain computer interfacing BCI, and now this we suppose you want to develop brain computer interfacing method BCI. Now you should know what is the brain signals, what is the EEG signal, what are the neurons, what is biomedical signal processing, what is the artificial intelligence, what is the signal processing, what is the hardware, how to connect hardware with the software. So actually the many things you should know. Robotics also, you should know how to get artificial arm. So this actually there are various things that one should know. So that as Professor Chobe mentioned in earlier talk, that we need to work in the group. So that actually for such kind of research we need group, and that is because one cannot have each and every expertise. So sometimes it is very good for working in the group. Even it is necessary to work in the group when we want to solve some big problem. So that actually that team spirit, that we have to learn how to work in the team. That is necessary for solving a big task like this, like brain computer interfacing. So you can see here this person, a disabled person, he doesn't have an arm, but he can imagine that whatever imagination can be done, how to control this arm. So based on the imagination, actually this signal is generated from the brain, and which can control the arm. And arm actually can be made by the robotic arm or robo arm kind of thing, and that can be driven with the help of signals. That is the BCI brain computer interface signals, and it is very useful. And this is actually research that we are doing at IIT Indore. There's effect of chanting on brain signals. Like in old time, when you see people used to do a lot of chanting, a lot of. In this we have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting. What is the effect of chanting on brain signals? So actually, that is now these days there is stress, lot of in the brain. Anxiety, a lot of depression is taking place due to this corona epidemic and this COVID-19 disease. And you can see this chanting, meditation, yoga can help us to actually reduce this stress, anxiety, and depression disorders. So what we have done, we have seen actually like what is the effect of chanting, and it shows that when you do chanting, and there is a change in the brain signals, electroencephalogram, EEG signals, and which gives you good relaxation, like stress-free. You can become stress-free. So now this kind of research requires you should know the mantras also. You should know this what is the japa beats, what is mala, why we should why there are mantras, 108 mantras, and you should know this chanting. So then you should know signal processing, you should know machine learning. So there are various actually, and you should have interest also in all these things. That is also important. So so many actually things are required for doing research, for doing this kind of work. So that only just research requires actually integration of many skills. And sometimes some skills we can see, some skills we don't see. That may be inherent due to his background, due to researcher's background, due to researcher's research family background. The mantras, somebody will learn mantra, and somebody might be knowing mantra from the beginning itself. So actually, it depends on the beginning of your journey of life. What things you know, and which domain you know the things. So here actually, so that sometimes suppose you are not aware with that particular area, it may take more time. So we should devote more time for that particular. So we should learn that whatever is required, we learn it, but it may take time. And this you can see, this is the EEG signal before chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and this is the EEG signal after chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is actually these signals are changing when you are doing these mantras, and we are doing a lot of research on these mantras and Vedas. What are the effect on different kind of signals, like what is the effect on brain signals, what is the effect on heart signals. And because old time people we have seen in our village, everybody used to do chanting in the evening time. Before food, they used to do chanting for 15 minutes, half an hour. So that and when we are doing this scientifically, then we are also finding it reduces the stress. It reduces relaxation is increased. And there are rhythms in the EEG signal, and this particular rhythm power increases. So such kind of actually this research, sometimes it requires knowledge of out of books also, out of box and out of your lab. So that inherent actually people have this. And old time, if you say the old time villages people, even find many people, they are very rich in knowledge, and they have not gone to school, but they have very good ideas. So if you talk to them, you can get many good ideas from them. So here you can see that for this kind of research, we require actually knowledge of biomedical engineering, instrumentation, signal processing, machine learning, computer programming, spiritual knowledge, mantras. So that actually now only one kind of knowledge is not sufficient. So you have to go through various types of knowledge. And this is another example that is actually snake robot that is some USA university recently has made. And suppose you want to make a snake robot. So then a lot of knowledge required. You should know what is a snake. You should have seen various snakes also. You should know what are the properties of snake. You should know how snake works. So all these things actually, suppose somebody is from a hill area, somebody is from forest, and he will have such knowledge automatically. So he does not need to go through the books and literature. So we don't know when this our previous knowledge, our whatever knowledge we have achieved, that will be useful. So for example, suppose you want to develop robot snake or snake robot, then you should have knowledge of signal processing, you should have knowledge of image processing, you should have knowledge of computer vision, you should have knowledge of functioning of snake, you should have knowledge of navigation, you should also have knowledge of robotics. So this actually lot of knowledge is required for this. So that is these days this one kind of knowledge is not sufficient. One should actually have knowledge of a lot of skills that is required. That is old time people used to do, like Fourier actually is well known for Fourier transform, but he also invented greenhouse effect. So it's like Newton is well known mathematics. Newton has some method. Newton has also given the rules for kinetics, mechanics. He has also contributed astrophysics. So a lot of actually areas Newton did lot of. So old time people used to do lot of research, lot of interdisciplinary nature research was there. Lot of people used to work in many areas. Now middle in the middle it was lost. Now again people are thinking about the interdisciplinary research because they are realizing again that the same actually life pattern is coming back, and it's like old time. So similar now everybody is emphasizing in them doing research interdisciplinary manner, because interdisciplinary research only can solve the if you want to work for this COVID-19 corona disease diagnosis, you should have various knowledge of various skills. So you should know what are the biomedical signals. You should know how the changes, how to process them, how to develop automated method, how to X-ray, how to process X-ray image. So a lot of actually automations techniques that these days medicine people are using. So various actually skills required in order to solve a particular problem. So this with time, this is actually significant change in the literature, in the research. So that one should understand, and maybe in future very soon, these all actually areas may merge. So it will be very difficult to separate electronics from computer from electrical engineering, because now there is a lot of overlapping is due to this time. So research is fine, and one should also focus on research methodology, how to do develop research methodology. So that research methodology actually is a procedure, for systematic procedure to solve the research problem. So it can be also understood as a science of studying how to do research systematically or scientifically. And it is necessary for the researcher to know that, or not only the research, but you should also know the methodology. So that actually methodology, complete methodology that Professor Chaubeji mentioned, that methodology part is actually very significant for the research. It requires entire plan, not just only what I want to do, but how everything will be done. That proper management is required. So researchers actually not only need to know how to develop certain indices, statistical methods, tool, mean, variance, statistical analysis. They also, it is necessary, they should discuss about the procedures and for entire setup, entire methodology, entire research paradigm. So the key points for research methodology includes study design and study population. This is sampling specifications, sample size needed, instrumentation, specific procedures. So these are the key points. So we will see one by one. And the study design actually it is a specific plan or protocol to performing the study, which permits us researcher to translate the conceptual hypothesis into the form of operations. And the study design should be clearly understood, and the study design which is planned should be sufficient for achieving the objectives of the study. And it will be nice if experienced researchers during the planning of study design. So that is actually research experience is very, very important. In Hindi there is saying जहाँ न पहुँचे रवि वहाँ पर पहुँचे कवि, और उससे भी बड़ा है अनुभवी. So this experience actually is very, very important. So when you are doing research, it is always nice to have or include this experienced persons in the research method or research discussion. And study population, it is also useful to mention what would be the study population. And the selection process for the study subject should be clearly planned. And this may require detail of the study subject should be mentioned, like what is the age, what is the temperature, weight, genders, and the number of trials of the study should be planned properly. Like what is the, how many trials you want to have. For example, you are recording this EEG signals from a person. So how many EEG recordings should be done? How many times? So that should be also this. We should see the literature also. So proper management is required before doing research, starting research. And the size of the study population should be sufficient so the results, whatever outcomes we are getting, that can be considered authentic outcomes. And the sample size is also necessary to include the protocol, which would have minimum sample size, record how it is obtained, because we cannot go for a very large sample size. So there is a trade-off between resources and expenses. Due to the trade between precision and price, due to resources expenses. If you have if you go more sample size, then you require more resources and more price, and precision will be better. But if you want to have sample size less, then it will have less precision and not like infinite case, but prices will be less. So the sample size should be as wide as possible according to your, so that we can, whatever results we are getting, that we can consider that authentic results, and they can consider valid results. And it is necessary to obtain ethical approval for obtaining some kind of sample data, and should be recorded in presence of experts. So these universities actually, they have ethical committees. So whenever you do research, you should submit proposal, and they give permission that can be used for actually to do the research. Before research, you should not harm people, should not harm human, should not harm animals. So that ethical committee, they have a set of experts, they are doctors and experienced professors, and they actually they will decide whether you should go for this study or not. So that they will take care of all these aspects. So now, after doing research, now how to actually communication is very, very important in technical communication. If you have done good research, it is fine. Now we want to communicate your research to the next generation, because you have done research is good. Actually, what is the advantage of this research? One of the major advantages in research, whatever you have done, that is for infinite. Actually, that is for coming generations also. And other things, whatever you make, whatever you invest, this is just for short time. Research is such a thing which will be always for coming generations. They will read your ideas, they will go through your ideas, they will go through your research. If you make your house, it will be for some time. You buy a big car, it may be for some years. But this is such a car research which will be always running entire. Actually, you are not here, but your car will be running in the literature. Maybe 2 generations, 3 generations, many generations will come, and they will go through your methods, your research. And so researchers actually need to communicate properly, because this is not, maybe after one generation, you don't know what kind of actually people will come, what kind of this. So actually it should be written in very good scientific language, very good language, very scientific manner. So there is actually communication is one of the unique feature of human. So in order to exchange information, and this communication should be very efficient communication. So that everybody, not just, we should write paper in such a way that it is not just for right now only, it is for forever. So what is technical communication? It is actually a way of sharing information about the specialized subject and to the experts, to the specialized people. That is the actually purpose. And whoever will read your paper, who is also expert, and he will, so that he will understand your paper. So you should clearly write it, so that the experts are writing for experts. So we have specialized people, they will go through the answer. And these examples include laboratory reports for this technical communication memos, project contact, user guide for software, drug prescription, patents, technical research papers and publications. So actually there are various ways. You can see in the laboratory also we put some communication, how do students go through and go through the manual, and they do the, so that is also we are communicating to the students. So but this technical research papers and publication, that is different kind of communication, that actually that should be done systematically. So actually there are some key points. Even it doesn't affect the language. Many people actually, they come from Hindi medium or Telugu medium, Tamil medium, their mother tongue. They write very good research paper, and many people they speak very good English, but they don't write good English. So even the Hindi medium people and this those who have studied mother tongue, they write actually their mother tongue. They write good research articles because they are very serious about the language to be used. So it doesn't matter whether you are from Hindi medium or any medium. Research language is just like a tool to convey the information. Sometimes your information may be significant, so then people don't worry about the very quality of very this English also, and use key techniques that communicate.
Hello, Sonal ma'am.
Hello.
Sir, he has left the group. He has left. He has left the session. Speaker sir.
Call to Amit sir, na?
हाँ
I think any network problem, it may be possible.
हाँ
Any network issue.
हाँ. I am waiting for him. Amit sir, Amit Sharma sir. Soral ma'am.
Yes, sir. Now I'm able to speak. All the participants kindly have patience. Wait for just 2-3 minutes.
Speaker sir has come. I am admitting him.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Irfan sir, kindly make him co-host.
And me too.
Where is Irfan sir? He is not able to admit. Now he has come, I think.
हेलो हेलो
Amit sir,
हाँ चंदन सर
sir,
हाँ बोलो बोलो आ रही है आवाज
सर वो स्पीकर सर वो हो चुके हैं कुछ टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम है शायद तो आई थिंक यू शुड कॉल हिम एंड
अरे कॉल किया था मैंने अभी कॉल किया था वो कनेक्ट होने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं अभी आए भी थे इस पे
हाँ 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 बट
मैंने उनको
स्टिल
एडमिट किया भी था फिर पता नहीं कैसे क्या हो गया कर रहे हैं सर वो
Actually,
कोशिश कर रहे
today
हैं
there is some internet issue. I also faced some issues today. So have patience, everyone. Please wait for just 2-3 minutes. We are solving that problem.
ठीक है कोई दिक्कत नहीं है चलता है सब सर हेलो
हाँ हाँ आई एम लिसनिंग
अरे नहीं नहीं सर का कॉल आ रहा था पता नहीं क्या हुआ हेलो
काइंडली म्यूट योरसेल्फ अमित सर इरफान सर आर यू देयर do not admit any participants. Irfan sir, thank you sir. Kindly call to Irfan sir.
Okay.
Irfan sir, are you there?
Amit sir, have you communicated with Ram Vilas sir?
I am admitting him, but he is not able to join.
Uh, Actually, he might be facing internet issue because 93 participants are there only. If there are 99 participants, then this issue may arise that he will not be able to join. Okay,
Sir,
now he is
हेलो
joined.
हेलो हेलो हेलो
is here.
हेलो
Yes,
स्पीकर
sir.
सर
Yes,
आ गए हैं स्पीकर
Clear? Is it visible?
yes, sir. Right now, I am able to see the heading. You are moving it. Right now, it is key techniques for technical communication.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it is correct. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So actually,
Okay, sir.
there it is audible.
Yes, sir. Completely
Yeah,
audible,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, fine. So actually, there are various key techniques for technical communication when we write research document, research paper, and we use past tense, and we should not use statements like due to fever I could not complete conclusion, such kind of thing. This actually is for writing should be it should not be like emotional statement should not be included, and it should use passive voice deliberately, and we should avoid like I have done, we have done, such kind of thing. It should be written in passive voice, and we should try to use short sentence and use bullet and numbered lists. It should be like the message should be clear, technical concepts, and introduction to ethics is very important. And suppose now you are going for peer-reviewed publication process, then there are some points that one should actually keep in mind, and that we should have planned to write a manuscript, and we should know what the types of research. Selection of journal is also important. Ethical rules is important. List of authors and submission process, peer review process. That we will see in the coming slides. And suppose actually when you are writing this manuscript, you should know about the how are the obtained results. Actually, sometimes we should discuss these results with our person who is experienced in that particular area. And sometimes we don't have experience and we think these results are new, and sometimes the results are not new when you show them to experienced people, experts in that area. And how novel are the results in study? It should be before writing manuscript, we should also ask this question to ourselves. And what is new for literature from this study? How work is connected with other works in the literature? Is there any connectivity or is this completely new? Have you discussed your results with others? So manuscript should not be no longer, and actually should not be shorter also required. It should be that whatever is required should be optimum. And good writing requires time, and devote good amount of time for writing part. And don't feel that this work is taking too much time. If any, actually in villages, actually there is saying if food takes time in preparation, it is good for health. And similarly, a research paper, if it is taking a lot of time to prepare, actually it is a good research article. So if if it takes any a lot amount of work, you should not worry for that. It is good. It's a good work always takes time. And what is the conclusion? That should be clear. And in good introduction required, actually these are the subsections that should be included in the introduction. Area of research, research problem and its importance, research work done in the literature, proposed research work, and then organization of the manuscript. These all should be the part of introduction. And abstract should be written precisely with clear objectives and contributions. And the manuscript problem statement, explanation of the methodology, findings and conclusion, effect and impact of the research work. That is, it should be included in the manuscript. And graphs, table, pictures, in the manuscript should be good quality. And manuscript should clearly explain the contributions, advantages, disadvantages of the proposed research work. Manuscript should be written in good language. It requires reading of manuscript many times. So don't include many references and also less references. Whatever reference required, that should be included. And it's always remember, good research work takes time. Selection of appropriate co-authors is also very important, and then selection of appropriate journals according to research work, then its impact factor, and go through the journal's website before preparing manuscript and write manuscript in proper format. So there are various types of research paper, research articles, reviews, letters, comments and replies, discussion, errata, proceeding. So if you have good actually complete research paper, then you go for research article. If you have written reviews of particular research area, then go for reviews papers. Letter is like incomplete, but it is a new work, novel concept. And comments, if you have comments on others' paper, then you can write comments as a paper. Reply, somebody has written comments on your paper, then you can write reply as a paper. Also, sometimes people do discussion through research papers. Errata means some mistake has been done in your research paper. You can publish these corrections as errata, and then conference proceeding also can be published as a so conference papers can be published in conference proceedings. Selection of journal is very important. There are very specialized, broad interest, theoretical, applied, full length letters, subscription, open access, timeliness of publication process, journal reputation, editorial board, SCI, Scopus index, impact factor. So it depends on your your requirement. Some people actually, I suppose somebody is in PhD and for university require 3 SCI publications. So he will focus on SCI papers. Some people will focus on Scopus index. Somebody says your impact factor of the journal should be more than 2. So then his main criteria is impact factor. Somebody's editorial board is a very reputed person from that area, then based on the editorial board, person will prefer that journal. So there are various, according to your requirement, one can actually select the journal. Ethical rules are very, very important, and take necessary clearances from the Institute Ethical Committee and submit manuscript to one journal at a time. State any conflict of interest is there, provide proper attribution, obtain permission for use of text, whatever if you are using again. Experimental simulation results should be original and not be fabricated. So that is actually even some cases if papers have been retracted if they have done that. And follow the internationally recognized principles for use of animals, human subject in the research, and don't copy from others' work. Similarly, we don't want others to copy our work. List of authors is actually very important. Authors should make substantial contributions. They should be involved in basic ideas or discussion, simulation experiments in the laboratory, detailed computations, calculations, and then only actually they should be included as the author. And the authors are responsible for the contents of the paper. You cannot say that I am the last author, so I am not responsible. Everyone who is listed as an author, he is responsible for the contents of the paper. And the lead author actually generally is a major responsible and has most contribution in the manuscript. This is generally first author. Corresponding author who perform the communication between journal and this to journal and ourselves from the who submits the paper, and generally it is submitting author. And last author, in some cases authors' names are arranged according to alphabetical order, sometimes according to their contribution, sometimes according to seniority. So like head of the laboratory is the last author. Acknowledgement part actually is sometimes contribution is not significant enough, then include as the author of the mentioned in the acknowledgement section, because you should not include him as author. And private conversation cannot be can be in the publication. Actually, suppose you have discussed with someone in train, you should not write in the paper. But you can actually, with the permission, you can write some private conversations also, like during this conference, you got this discussion, you involved in this discussion, and that is helpful for it. That can be mentioned as a like acknowledgement part. Funding information should be included in the manuscript if you have any. And submission process, actually these days due to electronic submission, it is very easy process. You have to select appropriate journal, then you can see in the right hand side there is manuscript center, and there nicely you can on account you can open and you log in and password will be provided, and you have to include it information about the affiliation email, and then you have to provide list of suggested reviewers and editors are required in some cases, and copyright form is also required sometimes. Title and abstract also required for submission process. Then upload the manuscript in PDF doc format, and this submitted manuscript will be checked by the journal office. After that, it is proper format, then it will be sent to the associate editor-in-chief for the further processing, and then associate editor will conduct the review process, and he will send this to 2-3 reviewers, and he will receive the feedback from the reviewers, and based on this feedback, he will take the decision. It may be rejected. It may, and manuscript is not rejected, it is not accepted. So next time you can incorporate these comments and submit to other journal. And he can also ask for revision. So the comments will be given, then you incorporate these comments and submit the revision. And then again it will go for editor, and editor can take decision himself, and you can send again for review. And once it is accepted, then it will be published. So this is the editorial board. You can see this is the Biomedical Signal Processing Control Journal, where I am one of the associate editor, and this is the editor-in-chief, and then 4 associate editors are there. So after doing this revision, if your manuscript is not accepted, then you shall go for other journal. And once accepted, then manuscript is sent for publication. Then proof will be generated. Actually, this will be the last opportunity for you to make any correction before final publication. Because once it is published, then it is difficult to make corrections. It is not possible. So that is why during proofs you should go carefully, and once proofs you have sent, then it is now final work is done. If you have any correction, then you have to publish as a data in future. So after that is now which journal is good? That actually the impact factor that represents the quality of the journal that generally people prefer. Good impact factor means it has good impact in the literature, more citations. So it represents the average annual number of citations per published article in the journal. And for example, if you want to compute impact factor 2017, so it is based on the papers published in last 2 years. So this is impact factor in 2017 can be given A by P, where A the number of times article published in last 2 years, 2015 and 16, and which have been cited in 2017. So B is the number of citable documents, and for example, this journal published total 200 articles in 2 years. So this impact factor will be, and they have got 800 citations in 2017. So as impact factor 17 will be A upon B, so that is 800 upon 200 plus 200. So it is impact factor is 2. And many journals like Nature, whose impact factor is 43.07, and actually they are not cited. 20% papers are not cited by even they are published in good journals. So this means all papers which are published in good journal, high impact factor journal, they are not good. They are not cited. They are not cited. Every paper is not citable. So due to this reason, there is a motivation for other measurement, so that H index as a good measure for researcher about the recognition of his research. So this is actually H index that is proposed by Dr. George E. Harris, and this is University of San Diego. And you can see this H index is actually is the of researcher indicate the H number of publications which have at least H number of citations. So H actually is like, for example, if your 10 papers have at least 10 citations, then your H index is 10. So H index determines the level of your achievements, and this is the Google Scholar profile. You can see this was actually a few months before, and this is my profile, and you can see H index is 41. So this means 41 these papers they have 40. So and after that, actually sometimes like for this case, you can see this first paper has 359 citations. So sometimes your papers can have more number of citations. So then another concept ITEL index came, and ITEL index actually is developed by Google Scholar. So ITEL index represents the number of publications which has at least 10 citations. So it is very simple measure and easy to understand the productivity of the researcher, and it is very simple, straightforward to compute, and generally used by Google Scholar. And disadvantage that is only used by Google Scholar. No, Scopus don't use this. Citations actually is very important. The paper is worthless if no one reads it. So paper is actually useful when people refer it, people study it. So research work is actually meaningful when it's clearly explained the research work. Only research can use your researchers can use your work is research work. It encourages other scientists to work. It motivates others to research. Other researchers can lead on the results of the paper. Then only your paper is successful. So actually, based on this Google Scholar, if you put your university, your institute in the Google Scholar, then it will give you the number of researchers according to the decreasing order of the citations. So, for example, the top 5 most cited researchers in IIT Indore. You put IIT Indore in Google Scholar, you can get the list of the who is the highest cited author, who is the next to highest cited author, like that. So you can see this my name, it is coming on third. So conclusion, actually in some cases researchers should not in some cases researchers should focus more on journal than impact factor, and focus should be on good writing and presentation in order to have more citations at index. And we need to keep working and publishing paper without thinking too much about the citation, H index, impact factor. And if work is good, then it will bring many citations. So even it is not published in high impact factor journal. So actually it matters what kind of work you have done in the research paper. It doesn't matter from which village you are, matters how you are. That is important. So this is actually Charles Darwin, that you can see his Google Scholar profile. I think that when Charles Darwin was here, this time there was no Google Scholar, but somebody has opened his account. So you can see actually a lot of citations in his papers, and he says, according to him, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. So the person actually who is very strong, it doesn't guarantee that you can run for a long time. If you are very intelligent, doesn't guarantee you can run for a long time. You can run for only adapted to the time. You should learn how to change with the time, and that is required in the research. And basic ideas are very, very important. Actually, when you are doing research, and whatever things we have today, they are also in other form, different form in other time also. So like when the Treta Yuga, when Hanumanji was going to Lanka, there was one Rakshasi, her name was Singika. Singika, she used to catch the person based on the shadow. So somebody when going through the sea, flying like Hanuman was flying to Lanka, and then shadow, based on the shadow, she detected that Hanumanji doesn't belong to Lanka, and she wanted to make food. So this capturing the person, identity of the person based on the shadow image, that is biometrics. So actually today we say this biometrics, and the old time people were doing the same thing in different way. So the concepts are same, but in a different form. So we should also actually, like Ramana time, we used to have automated classification system. So we should also go through the literature, and sometimes old time literature, that is also very useful for the research. So thank you very much. So I will conclude this talk. I will end this talk with this saying. This is, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it, and if you can dream it, you can become it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Participants, you can drop your questions in the chat box. Sir, there is one question from Rohit Kumar Kushwa. Why do researchers need to communicate?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Actually, the research, whatever you are doing, generally, actually, you are doing this work for the literature and for others. Others, actually, many things in life we should do for others. And this research is also one of the good work that you are doing for others, and not only for the person who is living life or present scenario. In future, also coming generations, you want to help them. So this, in order to help the coming generations, you want to communicate. So we should help each other. This is the only there's a reason for communication. If you do research, then it is only for yourself. If you communicate research, publish research in the literature, then it is also useful for the coming generation, and it is useful for entire world. So that is actually this work that you are doing for the community at global level. And we should live life for others, not just for ourselves. That when you are life for yourself, then it is limited life, and that animals can do. And when you live life for others, that is actual life. That is actually this is humankind that humans can do. So that is actually this is a good use of life if you do good work for others that animals cannot do, and we have got this opportunity, so we should do it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is other question from Lavanya. Based on what criteria government will give permission to do research?
Research anybody can do. Research actually don't. If you are doing some sponsored research, then you write some project proposals. Then government will evaluate these project proposals. Then they will give you funding. So that is actually for sponsored projects. But other research you can do yourself. If you want to do research, for example, you want to develop some new method for finding roots of equation for some function, that you can do.
Okay,
Nobody
sir.
will stop you. This is
Okay,
but
sir.
if you
Thank
are
you.
doing research for related to human, and you have to take permission from ethics committee of your university, and from government also. Sometimes you have to take permission when you are doing research on some like vaccine, it is like some genes kind of topics.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is next question from Anurag Shrivastava. If paper is published in elsewhere, what it count H index?
Paper published elsewhere, yes.
Then he is asking about its count in H index.
Yeah, those you can search on Google actually that journal, that it will tell what is the H index of the journal.
Okay, any more questions from participants? Sir, there are so many compliments for you that thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful session. Now I'm not able to see any more questions.
Open his account in the Google Scholar. And
okay, thank you so much, sir. Now it's my pleasure to invite Professor Chandan Kumar, coordinator of this webinar, for Thanksgiving to experts as well as for vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
As a coordinator of this event, I thank you so much, sir, for this informative and great session, which enhanced our knowledge about research, ethics, and methodology in modern education. I hope that all students, research scholars, and faculties are now aware about the importance of research and methodology. I appreciate, sir, for your valuable time and patience you have shown today. Again, on behalf of our Truva family, I am thanking you so much, sir, for being with us. Thank you so much, sir. Now I am starting vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to give heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. S.C. Chaube, TEQIP 3 coordinator, RGPV Bhopal, for giving us the opportunity for conducting a great session and for gracing our program and delivering the inaugural address. Thank you, sir, for your very valuable and thought-provoking address. I am sure that all the participants and faculties, as well as research scholars, have taken note of your suggestion and will discuss within their organizations to initiate your fruitful suggestions at their level. I am also very much thankful to Sri Shyam Rathod, sir, BOG member, Tuba Group of Institutes, Bhopal, for his continuous support and advices, which greatly help us towards the successful event. I also sincerely thanks Dr. Rajiv Arya, Director, Truba Institute of Engineering and Information Technology Bhopal for his valuable suggestions. I am very pleased to thank Professor Manoj Tyagi, HOD CSC, and in charge principal, Truba College of Science and Technology, for his inspiring mentorship and continuous support. I am again very pleased to thank Professor Asmi Singh, HOD, Basic Science, Truba College of Science and Technology, for her advice and guidelines. I am also very happy to thank Professor Amit Kumar Sharma, Assistant Professor, Basic Science Department, Truba College of Science and Technology, for his coordination for conducting this event. With these words, I would like to thank our subject expert and speaker, Dr. Ram Vilas Pachori, Professor IIT Indore, for delivering a wonderful session with excellent presentations and making this event interesting and meaningful. Last but not the least, I would like to thank to my colleagues, Professor Sonal Yadav and Professor Irfan Khan, who have given their precious time in organizing this one-day event. I also want to thank both of you for your undemanding support and assistance for making this event successful. At last, I am extremely privileged to have you all participants here today. Feedback and attendance link is shared in WhatsApp group, Zoom chat box, and on YouTube channel too. The link will active till 7 p.m. today. Again, I am repeating that the link of feedback and attendance will be active till 7 p.m. today. I will also mail the complete information of today's sessions to all participants after some time. Thank you all. Thank you everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So everyone can leave now. Thank you so much for your precious time. Hello.
I think we should leave the session. We should close the session. Tyagi sir. Irfan sir, kindly close the session. I think it has been done.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Chat box. Have you shared a feedback form in the chat box, Zoom chat box?
Yes.
Yes,
I
it's
have
shared.
shared.
It's shared. Dr.
No,
Pooja
I have
ma'am,
shared.
kindly
I have
see the
shared.
chat box. Feedback link is shared there only. It's
And
shared
it is
5 to 10 times.
okay. And it has been also shared on YouTube channel too, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I think close the session, sir.
Okay, sir.